What's up, friends? This is The Rish Life. My name is Rachelle, if this is your first time tuning in, and if not, welcome back. Lately, I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting and thinking about the lessons that I've learned throughout my 20s thus far. A lot of my friends are at the stages where they are getting engaged, getting married, having babies, and it really kind of makes you think about how far you've come and where you were earlier on in your 20s. So today I wanted to share the advice that I would give to my 20-year-old self in hopes that if you are at this earlier stage in your 20s and maybe feeling doubt or questioning about where you are, you can use my advice to my younger self and apply it to your own life. My first piece of advice is that you're not gonna have it all figured out for a very long time, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Doing something and bettering yourself is way more advantageous than doing nothing and kind of holding yourself back because you're not sure where you're going. Any bit of progress is still progress, and keep putting your best foot forward and working hard at whatever it is that you're doing. My next piece of advice for myself is when you go to that party on Gordon Head Road, do not, I repeat, do not take off your brand new boots that grandma just bought for you, because no matter how well you think you hid them in the back of that closet, they're gonna get stolen and you are gonna be sad and grandma is gonna be like, what the hell? My next piece of advice is to hold on to people around you that make you feel good and have good energy, and those that you have to interact with through school that maybe you don't mesh with as well or don't give off as natural of an energy with you. Continue to be nice to them. You know, I feel like it's important to not burn your bridges with anyone really, but don't put in too much effort with those people, because if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be, and no relationship, whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship, is worth forcing. My next piece of advice is to speak up for yourself, and this is still something that I'm working on even in my later 20s, is kind of having the, for lack of a better word, having the balls to speak up if I feel like someone is crossing a boundary with me or not treating me fairly or treating me the way that I would like to be treated. One of my personality characteristics is that I don't like conflict, and so typically I won't put myself in those situations where I'm having to speak out against someone or call someone out on things. But I think it's super important to not let yourself be walked all over or taken advantage of, and if you're not going to stand up for yourself, no one else is going to do that for you. Next piece of advice is not to shy away in fear or discomfort when your loved ones or people that you care about need you. Sometimes it can be hard when someone that you love is struggling, and it's kind of an awkward conversation to approach them and make it known that they're suffering in some way or another. But my advice to myself would be that the people you love you too, and they need you. So be there for them, be vocal, and show them that you're supporting them. Next piece of advice is to build healthy habits and routines from the place of loving your body, not from a place of trying to aesthetically look a certain way or achieve a certain physique. Do these things because they make you feel good and they make you happy, and they're just good for your health all around. My second last piece of advice is to focus on building your own identity. Again, this is another piece of advice that I can give to my 20-year-old self, but I also should be giving to my, how old am I? 26-year-old self. For a lot of my adolescence and young adulthood, I've always been in a relationship, and sometimes I find that I put a lot of my identity into that other person. And don't get me wrong, I love where I am in life right now. I love my boyfriend so much, but it hasn't been until recently when we moved in together that I really started to see the importance of being able to have my own separate life and really enjoy doing things that are completely for me. And my very last piece of advice that I would give my 20-year-old self is to practice gratitude and enjoy being in the moment. When I was 20, I lived in Victoria at my aunt's house, and I was doing long distance with my current boyfriend, and a lot of the weekends I would take the ferry and come back home because I wanted to see my boyfriend. I didn't necessarily have a desire to be going to parties and meeting a ton of new people where I was at for school, and it made it really hard for me to kind of find that separation and build a life there. So I often felt lonely and like I was homesick, and they always say that you don't realize the value of a moment until it's a memory. So now looking back at my time when I was away for school, and there was so many really amazing moments and opportunities that I had then that I cherish now as memories, but I wish that I would have been able to do more. For instance, when I was there, I started becoming really good friends with one of my best friends now. His name is Suki, and we would hang out, walk to the tennis courts, and go bike riding, and it was just super easy to do things outdoors. And now he lives on the other side of the world, so it's pretty rare that I get to see him, but whenever he visits, we always get together. And one of the biggest things that I cherish now as a memory, opposed to when I was actually living it, was that I lived 3 houses down from my grandparents. So my grandma and grandpa, they would always love when I came over. I'd just go there sometimes after school and sit with my grandma in the front living room and just look at magazines with her, or talk to her about things. And during the last year, my grandma actually passed away. And so those memories that I had with her are something that I hold very deeply to my heart, as well as living with my auntie, who loves me to death and would take me shopping, and we always made fun meals together, and she was just a lot of fun to live with. So moral of the story, no matter what age you are, I challenge you to reflect on your past 5-10 years and think about what is really special to you now that maybe you took advantage of at that time, and then try to apply that to your current present moment. And is there something that maybe you are taking for granted now that you should be putting higher value on? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for supporting me and watching all the way through. I can't wait to continue sharing more of my life, my advice, and my learnings to you all. Thanks again, guys. Take care.